Hello everybody, totally new information in today's show, today's Dr. Charles show. I mean, how good is that? I mean, what we're going to show something is something that Charles Hapgood, who studied the ancient Ice Age maps, did not know about. That's right, he didn't know about it. He didn't really look at Doggerland because Doggerland was not really named until the 1990s, and he died in 1981 in a bad car accident. So here's the thing. That map of South America is more accurate than the map of Africa, and yet it was people coming from over here who explored this. Doesn't seem to make any sense, does it? And here we have even more. We have an ice-free Antarctica. In the previous video I said it's totally mixed up with Australia. That could be the reason it's depicted as ice-free. But then again, there's also an ice-free North Pole, which is bizarre. And here we have the beautiful Ptolemy map. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And if we scroll up, we can see that, as I mentioned, there is 180 degrees up here. He was the one who divided the world into 360 degrees, but of course that comes from Sumerian times, the base 60. So that can only be Sumerian. The Sumerians didn't know the Earth, or did they? So they must have got it from older libraries still. It probably goes back to the ancient giants. And Ptolemy himself probably found this map in the Library of Alexandria. I think the other half was stolen just a few years before by whoever it was who went over to Tiwanaku to set up a huge temple there. We'll talk about that in an upcoming video. I mean, just stay tuned for that. That is going to be so good. Now, here is the thing. Charles Hapgood noted an archipelago down here in India, and he said that this archipelago is essentially the result of a different sea level. That is actually India, but the sea levels are much higher, and that's what's causing this wacko archipelago. Because why would you make India so small and Ceylon so big? It don't make any sense whatsoever. Unless, of course, it is depicting something accurate from the past. And, of course, why would he know so much about Asia anyway and all this? It doesn't make any sense. Now, here is the new information, because this guy didn't know a thing about Dogger. Oh, and by the way, that's the evidence. Look at that. A perfectly straight line. That shows it was ripped off another map before it was drawn. So anyway, this is a Roman map of the world. And if we zoom in even further, let's go up here, all the way up here, and let's look at the UK, shall we? So that's Iberia. And that is Albion, which was the Roman name for England. And unbelievable. What is happening here? I mean, you have Scotland, and one website I've seen suggests it's going off to it's essentially at a right angle. But why? Denmark's doing the same thing, which would suggest to me it's basically a longitude error at a particular latitude. But that's not good enough for me. It doesn't make any sense for me. But what is so coincidental is that is where Doggerland should be, where Doggerland sank in 6000 BC. That's right, it sank all the way back then. I mean, why is it here on the map? So I'm suggesting in this video that is Atlantis, because it is beyond the Pillars of Hercules. It's a land rich in metal, and it would have been quite a wealthy land as well. It would have been a warm land, probably warmer than today. That whole area was warmer than today in the that corresponded to the Holocene maximum in temperatures about the time the Sphinx was fixed up or built or something like that. The real time that was done. So that seems to be Doggerland. And that is the origin of putting Scotland out like that. He saw all the maps and he didn't know what to make of them. So he joined it up like that. And we're going to prove it. Now, as I mentioned, I've read that. He doesn't mention Doggerland in that. He talks about everything else, but not Doggerland. Again, that's the same map, and this is even better because this is a different version. There are two versions. What we saw was one of the Byzantine versions. This appears to be another Byzantine version. What happened was there are no drawings surviving from Roman times, but the Byzantines, who basically were the Romans, they took his coordinates and they drew up some mock copies for themselves. So there we have the same phenomenon happening again. Denmark, this time it's less pronounced. It looks less like an error. So that is basically Doggerland right there. I don't think anyone has noticed this before. The tear off is absolutely much more pronounced here. So someone's ripped that off, and they've used the information to basically go to America, which we'll show in another video. Now, here's the proof. Like I said, I was going to prove. I hope this is proof. I don't know if it's proof. Maybe it's proof. Maybe it's not proof. But look, here's the thing. This is the time. This is the map of the world back in the time of Herodotus and Plato and Solon. They were the ones talking about a land beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which has disappeared. As a result, I reckon they wiped Britain off the map to show that it had sunk beneath the waves. So there's nothing there. But it was actually Doggerland that sank and part of the outlying stretches of the UK. I've proven that in other videos. It's UK is still sinking. It's surrounded by mud. I mean, why is Skara Brae right on the beach? It's probably because it was probably inland before, but it's all sank. And that's Doggerland right there to prove it. I mean, that's kind of the smoking gun, and I mean there it is right there. I mean that is the smoking gun. Okay, guys, so that is Doggerland, and we bring this across. I mean, it's the smoking gun. It just juts off right where Doggerland is. I mean, if that isn't proof, proof doesn't exist. So, are we looking at a Ptolemy having used a map surviving from, say, 6000 BC? Would that explain the survival of the Atlantis legend in Egypt because Ptolemy was in Egypt? You bet it would. This is the Atlantis legend proven right here on a map. This is it. This is a smoking gun. And of course, what happened was the Strogara eruption. What happened was it wasn't an eruption. It was a slide of glacial bits of glacier and icebergs off the land into the sea. It caused a massive tsunami. It was the final straw for the Doggerlanders. They started fleeing to Egypt, but they took with them a map of their former home, which is presumably why that is in Egypt. So I reckon that is Doggerland for sure. That's why it's drawn like that. Otherwise, there's no reason to draw it like that. Ptolemy didn't know quite what Britain looked like. He saw a map of Doggerland. He pasted that on, but that map was ancient. Guys, what do you think of that? I think that's just unbelievable. And thank you so much for watching. Really grateful. And I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye. Well, guys, how good is this? I've actually got a second YouTube channel. That's right. It's called The Lucky. Look at that. I've got 341 subscribers. Now, what is this about? I'm fascinated by what makes people lucky and lucky habits and all this intuition stuff, and I'll be running workshops and things like that for all sorts of things, enterprises and all this. But here's the thing, I'm putting videos up here which are just really interesting. So 3 crucial rules for becoming incredibly lucky. I mean, who doesn't want to watch that video? I mean, rejected by Spain, Isabella Solis' #1 success trait in Columbus. I mean, how good is that? And now I've just made another video. 99.9% proof that good luck actually breaks the laws of physics. But it's possible. I mean, how good? I mean, I don't get any better than that. So, guys, that's my. This is a popular one. What's going on in dreams? I mean, this is a good one. Look at that. It's all about. It's all about being lucky, basically, guys. So check that out. It's called The Lucky, and there you go. See ya. And you know what, guys? I just want to say this channel is all about presenting the stuff that the archaeologists, 1, don't have the intelligence to present, and 2, don't have the guts to present. That's right. Because some of these guys, no offense to them, but they're absolutely spineless because they will not mention Atlantis. It's an A word to them. It's the A word. Because look, they've put a lot of effort into getting university position, career, their whole life. So why would they mention it? Okay. But the thing is, if they were intelligent, they would want the truth out there. I mean, they would want the truth out there. So, this is what I do. One of the 2 things I do. This channel and writing and all this stuff and trying to find the evidence. So, if you like what I do, I've got a Patreon as well. So check that out. Otherwise, see you later. Bye-bye.